So, hello everyone. In this session, we are going to know about various paradigms for problem solving. In this session, the learning outcome is student will be able to distinguish among various paradigms for problem solving. First, before going to start knowing about various programming paradigms, first we need to know what is the general meaning of paradigm. So, in simpler terms, a paradigm is nothing but a pattern or model. If you consider the picture here, if somebody looks at this particular picture, they may say that few people may say that it is a duck, but some people may say that it is a rabbit. It is all depends on the way of looking at something. It depends. A paradigm is a way of looking at something. It is a worldview. So it is, some people define it as a standard perspective or set of ideas. So when somebody comes to me and says that this is a duck, and I say to them, if I say that no, it is not a duck, it is a rabbit, immediately the paradigm of the other person, the model, changes. So paradigm shift happens. When you change paradigms, you are changing how you think about something. Paradigm shift. So in the history, we have various areas of our life are influenced by paradigms. For example, in days ancient times, people thought that earth is flat, and many theories or perspectives or ideas built around the central idea that earth is flat. But after few years, it was proved that earth is not flat. Earth was not flat. It is spherical in shape. So immediately a shift happened because the old model doesn't hold, doesn't fit together properly. There are various problems arised in the old model, old paradigm, previous paradigm that earth is flat. Immediately after few years, somebody found that earth is not flat, it is spherical in shape. So the whole picture, the whole model changed as the paradigm shift happened. So the ideas evolve, the things evolve, and they go through various paradigms. They, many things face paradigm shift. So in this session, we are going to discuss with respect to programming. You know what is a programming? Programming is the process of writing, developing or writing programs in a particular programming language or a computer language. So if you consider paradigms for problem solving, in this session we are going to discuss imperative programming paradigm, procedure oriented programming paradigm, object oriented programming paradigm, declarative programming paradigm, functional programming paradigm, logical programming paradigm. These are the what paradigm. Programming paradigm is nothing but the way we, the style we follow, or the model the approach we approach towards solving a problem is by following some programming paradigm. First one is imperative programming paradigm. So under imperative programming paradigm, programmer writes the program as single block. That means it is a continuous set of instructions, uh, and it is executed step by step. It contains only a common set of data for processing. At each step, values of variables will be updated. Focus is on how to achieve the goal. On execution of all the instructions, the result is stored in a variable. Language, the languages that support this paradigm are assembly, basic, etc. This is a very initial, I mean, a very old paradigm. In the olden days, in the beginning of programming era, so people started programming in this paradigm, in this way. That is, a program is treated as a single block of instructions, and in this is the code that demonstrates, that gives a clear picture of what is imperative paradigm. That is a sequence of instructions executed one by one, giving some side effect, that means changing the variable values, and finally we arrive, after all completing all the sequence of instructions, we will get the answer or the output. Next one, this is extended. This is the imperative paradigm is changed. A paradigm shift happened because in this paradigm, if something goes wrong, uh, it is very difficult to identify, to debug, or to manage, or to maintain the code. That is the reason gone we have shifted to the next paradigm. There is a paradigm shift. The next paradigm is procedure oriented paradigm. So in this procedure oriented paradigm, the program is divided into multiple procedures or functions. So in this concept, in this model, the program is divided into multiple functions or procedures. So as you can see in this diagram, there are two functions which are which are separate entities. Every function has some local variables to hold local data, as well as all the functions, both the functions share a common variables, that is called common data. So these common variables, global variables, can be accessed by both functions, whereas local variables are hidden or only accessed by itself. Let us suppose function A can access its local variables, but it cannot access the local variables of function B. So there is a concept of local data and global data. Local variables hold the local data of that function, and global variables hold the global data of that function. Uh, so difficult to manage when program becomes complex. When program becomes complex, it becomes like this. So if you have 4 functions, or if you have 10 functions, it's going to be very difficult to manage the uh, connections between the global data as well as functions. As you can see in this picture, a function is going to access particular data, not all the data, but all the data is accessible to the all the functions. So this is a drawback in this model, in this paradigm. If at all some global data is changed, all the functions which are related, which are connected, which are accessing this data has to be changed accordingly, and it is very difficult to trace out or to identify which functions are going to be connected with which data, and it is a very complex. If the system software becomes more complex, and the problem becomes very complicated. So that is one thing, and it is very far from real world model, because in the real world everything looks to be here. A function is a verb, English verb, that is go, come, drive, eat. So these are all verbs. So functions are going to be verbs in this model, in this paradigm. But in real world, we see all everything as not as a verb, we see as things. So if you consider this program, in this program we have three functions. One is main function, set values, get values. So every a function may have some local data, as well as it can also the program may have some global data, and every function may have some local data. So as you can see here, a and b are the local variables of main. Next one is object oriented paradigm. So to overcome this anomaly or a problem in this model, we are going for the next paradigm shift. We are going to shift to another paradigm, that is called object oriented paradigm. So in this paradigm, functions and data, related data, are combined into a single unit called class. And a class is a blueprint where we can generate similar objects of that particular class. Data is hidden from outside world, so simplifies the job of maintaining the code. So if something uh, so this particular paradigm has simplified the job of maintaining the code, and it is very near to real world view. So as you can see in this picture, there are three objects. As you can see, in the real world we come across everything as an object. So this paradigm supports that view. So it views everything as an object. A basic fundamental block of OOP, object oriented programming paradigm, is object. So in this paradigm, in this model, so every object will have some data, as well as some a few member functions, as you can see. And this data is only accessed by the local functions, the member functions of that object. And the other object, every object will have its own data as hidden inside it, and it has its own functions, member functions, which can access this data, which can operate on this data, or which can work on this data. And every object communicates by passing messages. If at all an object want to access the data of another object, it cannot do that directly, but it can achieve that by calling the member function of another object. Thereby, that member function can access its own data in that object. It can modify the data, or it can work on the data. But one object cannot access directly the data of another object. It can be achieved only through member functions. So here you can see in this code, we have defined a class which contains data members and member functions. So the local data, that means the data inside a class, and the member functions. It can have one or more member functions. So now this line shows how to create an object for a class. So class namespace, it is a sample Java code where we're going to create an object for account class. So A is an object. Now A has both locally some data as well as member functions. So that is all about imperative programming paradigms and its related paradigms. Now we are going to see another part of the programming paradigms, that is declarative programming paradigms. So declarative means it expresses only the logic of computation, but it doesn't show how it is going to be executed, about its control flow. It shows only what is the logic of computation. Such focus is on what needs to be done rather than how it should be done. So when you see the code, you will be only knowing the logic, but how it is carried out, it is internal. You cannot see the control flow actually. So the example code is here. You can see a database query, a query for accessing a database. So a query language is basically a declarative programming, follows this paradigm. So as you can see, this query is showing only, it is asking some data from a table from a database, but it doesn't know how it is going to be done. We can only see the logic, we can only see the meaning of, we know what you are doing. I know what this query is going to do, but I don't know how it is going to do. So that is the nature of declarative programming paradigm. Logical programming paradigm is the other one. So it contains basically three types of statements: facts, rules, queries. So in this particular paradigm, so you have to define some facts, you have to give some facts, and you have to build some rules on those facts, and you can query the you can ask the questions. So such languages like Lisp, Prolog, or the examples that are the languages which follow logical programming paradigm. As you can see this example code, so initially you have given some facts that Trude is a child mother of Sally, Tom is a father of Sally, Tom is a father of Erica, Mike is a father of Tom, and you have defined some a rule on these facts. That is, if Z is a parent of X and Z is a parent of Y, then X and Y are siblings. That is the inference rule. Mm, and this is the first rule. And next rule is, if X is the father of Y, then X is the parent of the child. And next one is, if X is the parent mother of, if X is parent of Y, then X is mother of Y, then X is a parent of Y. So these three lines say about the rules, and first four lines are facts. On the facts you have built some rules, and based on the rules you are going to ask query question. So my question is Sally are Sally and Erica are siblings? Is Sally the sibling? Are these two siblings? So based on the question, it is going to go back to sibling of X comma Y, where X is Sally, Y is Erica. So do you find a common parent for Sally and Erica? A common parent Z? Yes. Sally has Tom as father, Erica has Tom as father. So both have a common parent, that is father to a child. So then the answer you expect is yes. Functional, next one is functional programming paradigm. So here in this paradigm, you are going to see the execution of series of mathematical functions, and the functions are going to be pure functions, means a function which doesn't change the value of parameters are called pure functions. So as you can see, computation as the evaluation of mathematical functions and avoids changing state and mutable data. So it is not going to change the the local data. So if you can see here in this code, you can see each function is going to take, this add function is going to take two parameters a and b, and it is going to return the sum of a and b. And this function is not going to change the values of a and b, but it's only going to operate on these variables, on this data, on this particular parameters. It is not going to change the state of a and b. Similarly, mul mult is a multiplication function where it's going to take two parameters, and these, the state of these variables are not going to change, but you are going to operate, you are going to multiply the values of a and b, but you are not going to change the values of a and b. So this is the way it works. Add of 2 comma mult of 3 comma 4. First multiplication of 3 comma 4 happens, it returns the multiplication of 3 and 4, and thereby the 12, 2 comma 12 is going to be passed to add function, and add is going to add 2 and 12, it is going to return 14. So here it is not going to change the state of a and b. Either add function or mult function is not going to change the values of a and b. It is only going to operate on the given data and it's going to return the data, but no change state changes. Thank you.